Good evening and welcome to this August 28th, 2023 meeting of the Lake Bluff Village Board of Trustees. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Cole?
Here.
Trustee Fisher?
Here.
Trustee Freed?
Here.
Trustee Hatch?
Here.
Trustee Rappin?
Here.
Trustee Ryder?
Here.
Thank you. Please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next is our awards and proclamations. And the first proclamation would be designating September 18 to 24, 2023 as National Rail Safety Week. Whereas Rail Safety Week is to be held across the U.S. from September 18 to 24, 2023, and whereas 2,194 rail-grade crossing collisions resulted in 803 personal injuries and were responsible for 274 fatalities in the United States during 2022. And whereas 1,208 pedestrians trespassing casualties have occurred in the United States, resulting in 658 pedestrians being killed and another 550 injured while trespassing on railroad property rights of way during 2022. And whereas educating and informing the public about rail safety, reminding the public that railroad right-of-ways are private property, enhancing public awareness of the dangers associated with highway rail-grade crossings, ensuring pedestrians and motorists are looking and listening while near railways, and obeying established traffic laws will reduce the number of avoidable fatalities and injuries caused by incidents involving train and citizens. And whereas the International Association of Chief of Police, National Operation Lifesaver, United States Department of Transportation, and all local, state, county, and railroad law enforcement officers, first responders, and railroad corporations commit to partnering together in an effort to educate at a national level all aspects of railroad safety, to enforce applicable laws in support of National Rail Safety Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Régis Charlot, Village President of the Village of Lake Bluff, Illinois, do hereby proclaim the week of September 18 to 24, 2023, National Rail Safety Week in the Village of Lake Bluff. Thank you. Next on our agenda is a presentation from the City of Highland Park as a thank you for the 4th of July support. Mayor?
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to join you this evening. Tonight we stand before you humbled and grateful for the incredible support and assistance that each of you and your community have shown us in the wake of the Highland Park shooting. It was the darkest day in the history of Highland Park, and the shooting shook us to our core. Yet amid chaos and despair, we experienced something remarkable. Communities like Lake Bluff came together to help us. On behalf of the City of Highland Park and so many survivors, I say thank you. We are grateful to every individual who offered a helping hand, a listening ear, a word of encouragement in the days and the months that followed this tragedy. The kindness, the professionalism, the solidarity we experienced from all of you and your team give us hope and remind us of the power of community. Every act of kindness made a tremendous difference. You showed us that we are not alone in our grief and that we have a network of people who care deeply about us. We will continue to lean on each other as we work together to solve shared problems and to achieve common goals. Thank you.
To echo the mayor's appreciation, thank you so much for having us this evening. My name is Geeta Newkirk, and I serve as the city manager for the city of Highland Park. As local government managers, emergency preparedness is part of our routine. While crises are rare, we prepare individually with our respective organizations and with our regional partners. On that horrific day last year, our team in Highland Park and the brave men and women of Lake Bluff and the region, including our counties and state partners, responded swiftly, effectively, confidently, and in a coordinated manner. For weeks after the emergency, Lake Bluff staff continued to provide our organization with law enforcement and administrative services support, and so many individuals took on roles and responsibilities well beyond their job descriptions. We are so incredibly grateful for your support, the heroic actions, and the sacrifices made. The actions, professionalism, and courage of the Lake Bluff team will be forever remembered.
My name is Lou Jogman. I'm the Chief of Police for the City of Highland Park, and we're incredibly honored to be here today and just so grateful to the village of Lake Bluff. I can tell you that we had roughly 1,800 people that came and helped that day, and then the days that followed. Dozens of federal agencies and state agencies and local agencies. But we really are grateful to our surrounding nearby agencies, and Lake Bluff is one of those. One of the reasons why we feel so compelled to thank you and to be here is, and for me personally as Chief of Police, our officers, responding to what they responded to, unfortunately they all came into work that day. They weren't all scheduled, but they all came in. And that posed a kind of unforeseen problem for us as a small agency, as it might for you. We didn't have anybody to work the street. We had people that had to go back to work at 6 p.m. that night after working 14 hours and working the parade. So I worked with my colleagues, my local chiefs, to kind of come up with an innovative solution, one that's never really been done before. And Lake Bluff took part in that solution. And that was that your officers came to Highland Park and served our community in a beat so that our officers could take one day off and have a mental health day. And for me as Chief of Police, it was heartbreaking to have my officers not have that time off. So I am incredibly grateful to Lake Bluff and a number of the other communities that are local that helped us with that. And my staff is as well incredibly grateful, the city. So we tried to come up with a way to recognize those municipalities, those officers, those people that assisted us throughout those days. And so one of the ways we'd like to just recognize Lake Bluff, in addition to a couple of the other agencies that really stepped above and beyond, and we're grateful to everybody that came, believe me, but there are some agencies that stepped above and beyond, and Lake Bluff is one of them. So we decided that we would fly a flag, a City of Highland Park flag, half-staff over our community, in honor of your community, in honor of the work that you all did, and the help that you gave us. And we also designed what we think is a very fitting and special challenge coin that recognizes all of the people that helped in general, but we've listed on the challenge coin those agencies that did really go above and beyond. And Lake Bluff will be forever memorialized on our challenge coin. We have one for each of the officers that attended and helped us. And so anybody that worked that event is getting a challenge coin to kind of commemorate at least the spirit of cooperation that we all shared that day in that horrific moment. So the city manager will read to you the statement.
So it says the City of Highland Park recognizes the Lake Bluff Police Department for their assistance and support during the City of Highland Park's critical incident response to the mass casualty shooting on July 4, 2022. The LBPD and its members played a crucial role in the initial response and subsequent recovery efforts, including providing shift coverage for much-needed HPPD officer wellness days. The accompanying flag was flown in Highland Park in honor of your service and in great appreciation of your contributions. The City of Highland Park will be forever grateful to the Lake Bluff Police Department and to its members. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that day was an incredibly dark day in our communities. I wish that never happens again, of course. I am happy we worked as a single community to resolve that issue that day and for the days that followed and help your community to cope with that drama that is a thing I never want to see again. So thank you very much. And thank you for being here.
Thank you, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Gita, can we get everybody together for a photo? Is that right? Oh, sure, Matt. Sorry, I don't, go ahead, Matt.
Sergeant James Reynolds. Officer Dave A, please.
That's pretty cool.
Deputy Chief Eric Gerke. And they could not join us this evening, but we'd also like to recognize Officer Josh Rosenberg, retired officer Merritt Price, and Detective Lisa Malco for their efforts during that time. Thank you.
That's us down here.
Just dial in and out on this one.
I can't read it. He's showing it to me there. I can't read it.
To help the eyes. Didn't even realize Lake Bluff stepped up so materially, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, pass it around. Oh.
Pass that back
So cool.
to Regis.
Yeah, that's super cool. Keep handing it back to me.
You ever seen it, Jim? I didn't know he was a Lake Bluff guy.
Next on our agenda are the
He's doing for you, too.
consideration of the minutes of July 24th, 2023, regular village board meeting. Is there a motion to approve village board's July 24th, 2023 minutes?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Are there any changes? Is it a voice vote?
It is.
It is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you, the motion carries. Next is item 5, our non-agenda items and visitors. The village president and board of trustees allocate 15 minutes during this item for these individuals who would like the opportunity to address the village board of trustees on any matter not listed on the agenda. Each person addressing the village board of trustees is asked to limit their comments to a maximum of 5 minutes. I do not see any comments in the room. Do we have anybody online?
There's one person participating online, but it's a member of the press. I don't think they're looking to make any comments this time.
Thank you. And I say we move on. Next item is the village board sets the order of a meeting. The village president and board of trustees will entertain requests from anyone present on the order of business to be conducted during the village board meeting. And I do believe we have two items tonight.
6.8C. And that would be it.
So
6.8C for the guest here.
so
Sorry,
that one.
8C.
8C.
I'm sorry, I don't know why I said 6. 8C.
8C. Okay, yes. So with any, without any opposition, moving on to 8C?
Nope.
So item 8C would be your report.
There is a memo in the packet, essentially, at the last PCZBA meeting, there were two informal presentations made at that meeting. One had to do with the possible annexation and redevelopment of the By the Way Motel north of 176 along Route 41. Interesting. To turn it into a hockey rink. That was a property that was under contractual interest by a group of Lake Bluff and Lake Forest hockey advocates, is probably the best way to describe it, who were very sick and tired of their children getting to bed at a very late hour because there's so little ice time in the general area, and so they decided to take the power in their own hands and create their own hockey rink. And it would serve most of the youth hockey groups in the area as well as the high school team. And so that's their plan, and we'll see if it comes to fruition, but they wanted to see if there was any heartburn from the PCZBA about, and it kind of fit in with the village's existing zoning around that area, L1, and really the issues boiled down to, at least from the PCZBA comments, was which way would they push the building to the east or west to try to fit within certain setback limitations, because ultimately the access for this property will change from the west service road to the east of the new service road that are run along the railroad tracks when 41-176 is ultimately reconfigured. So that was really the core of the comments there, but they need our water and sewer, so I think annexation makes total sense, and so hopefully we'll see that in the near future. The second project that made a presentation was Grace Methodist Church, who years ago had a special use permit to operate a child care facility there. They abandoned the use over time and stopped that activity, but now have come back forward with a potential new tenant to take on a child care program to serve the underserved in that child care arena, and went through a presentation, but they're here tonight in front of you to get a waiver on those permit fees and development fees, which is authorized. It exceeds my authority. But they're in front of you asking for those fees. They do qualify pursuant to the village's fee waiver program, but it exceeds my authority, so they're in front of you looking for those fees before they make application for September's meeting.
Well, I can say that my kids used to go to the daycare center that was there, and it was so convenient for them to be in downtown Lake Bluff, and you'd see the kids walking to the lake and back. It is a great location for daycare. I'm not clear on the underserved portion. Does that mean underserved low income, or does that mean just a need within Lake Bluff?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
Please, yes.
Please.
Did I miss it?
So I'm Emily Selby, 764 Oak Avenue, and I'm a member of Grace United Methodist Church. The Illinois State Board of Ed did a survey of all the communities in the state of Illinois to identify which do not have daycare facilities or actually early learning programs for lower income children. So believe it or not, they identified Lake Forest and Lake Bluff as having children in those communities that are living at less than 200% of the federal poverty level. So there are 40 children in Lake Forest, Lake Bluff that have no access to subsidized childcare in their communities. So there's a gal who actually lives in the Knollwood area, Lake Bluff, very experienced in childcare, and she has applied for a grant from the state of Illinois that we're very hopeful that she will get, because it's specifically designated for these childcare deserts. So I think it's a really exciting opportunity for this community to serve some of these kids that really go under the radar without having those services. Does that answer your question?
Thank you very
Good.
much.
I have actually one question. When you reference Lake Bluff and Lake Forest, do you mean Greater Lake Bluff, such as that is included in our school district?
School
Knollwood? Okay, okay.
Would the children be required to be from Lake Bluff and Lake Forest?
Yes, that's the group that we're literally targeting.
Okay. Wow, what a great service.
Yeah, it really is. It's pretty exciting, actually. So the space is good. They'll be using 2 classrooms for 2 half-day programs, so that they could literally serve 20 in the morning and 20 in the afternoon. So
Their applications are also going to include music lessons
Right, that's another group that's going to be coming in to share the space is the Music Institute of Chicago. So they're going to be doing, using a couple classrooms to teach music lessons to students in the community. And they actually do some pro bono work, helping lower income kids get access to music education. So there's some really wonderful synergy between those two groups coming in to share the church at the same time.
Thank you. This is
Waive those fees.
an exciting development, so thank you very much. And having raised children in town and not having family in town, finding help, finding the ability to have our children being in a program was extremely hard. So thank you very much for putting that forth to the residents of Lake Bluff.
I'd just also like to add that there's an overwhelming amount of research and documentation emphasizing the importance of early education. It's a health issue, a public health issue. It changes the trajectory drastically, and it is absolutely in step with the character and value system of Lake Bluff to highlight and assure and support and uphold our value of strong education for all of our children. So I can't express how grateful I am, and especially knowing that I, as a working mom, struggled to find the proper early education for my child when I first moved to Lake Bluff. So there is a limited amount of resources, and those resources are cost prohibitive currently.
Yep.
So thank you.
That actually has early education programs have a direct correlation to higher education. You actually see that transpiring in communities, so it is important to us. So thank you very much.
So a simple motion to direct, to waiver the fees?
Yep.
Could I please have a motion to?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher.
Aye.
Trustee Freed.
Aye.
Trustee Hatch.
Aye.
Trustee Rappin.
Aye.
Trustee Ryder.
Aye.
Trustee Cole.
Aye.
Thank you. So the motion carries. Congratulations. Thank you. And resuming our agenda at item 7A specifically, and that would be our village finance report for the warrant reports for July 25th to August 28th, 2023, and July 2023 payroll expenditures. Is there a motion to approve this report?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. This is for a warrants report for July 25th to August 28th, 2023, and July 2023 payroll expenditures. As a summary of background and reasons for request, we have expenditures of village funds for payment of invoices in the amount of $1,118,049.01 for July 25th to August 14th, 2023, and payment of invoices in the amount of $223,155.68 for August 15th to August 28th, 2023, and expenditure of village funds for payment of payroll in the amount of $309,524.75 for July 2023, for total expenditures of $1,650,729.44. Do we have questions for Mrs. Alcano?
I have one question. We're seeing expenditures on the footbridge, and I know there was a generous donation. What's the arrangement of that donation relative to our expenditures?
It's a reimbursable, right?
So now that we've ordered the bridge, we can seek our first payment from them on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the goal is that we complete, I think I'm afraid to say there'll probably be a window of time at late winter to February that bridge may be out of service when we have to do set the pylons and do the pre-work, and then over the winter, then we'll set it, come back very early next year and actually put the bridge in place. By some freak occurrence, they could have it done at the same time that we have the pylon work, that would be ideal, but I'm not counting on that. So,
More questions? So this is a roll call. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fried,
Aye.
Trustee Hatch,
Aye.
Trustee Rappin,
Aye.
Trustee Ryder,
Aye.
Trustee Cole,
Aye.
Trustee Fisher.
Aye.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is item 7B, our July 2023 financial report. Mrs. O'Connell, could you please walk us through this report?
Sure. To be noted, the monthly sales tax revenue on a cash basis for July fiscal year '24 is $327,924, which is $19,443, or 6.3% greater than the fiscal year '23 cash basis receipts for the same period. General fund fiscal year '24 total revenues of $4,403,318 are $108,696,000 greater than the fiscal year '23 year-to-date revenues. And fiscal year current expenditures are consistent with or less than budgeted for the total general fund. The fiscal year-to-date expenditures of $2,234,902 are $126,655 less than the expenditures for the same period in fiscal year '23.
Thank you.
Sure.
Do we have, I don't think we had a motion to accept the finance report. Could you please have a motion?
You have one.
Could I have a
So
second one?
moved.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any questions to Mrs. O'Connell? And I see we have no questions, so this is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you, the motion carries. Thank you. Next would be, again, our village administrator's report.
So picking up where I left off, there's another request for fee waivers from the Lake Bluff Park District. They're doing some roofing work. They've also, they requested for some other interior lighting permitting waivers, which I had the authority to waive, and I did so. Again, they're re-roofing the parts of the rec center, that main flat roof portion, and the fees are in excess of my authority, are roughly $2,100, and so they're to you all to seek a waiver.
Do you need a motion?
I do, sir.
So moved.
Second.
All in this is a voice vote, or this is a roll call? This is a roll call. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Hatch,
Aye.
Trustee Rappin,
Aye.
Trustee Ryder,
Aye.
Trustee Cole,
Aye.
Trustee Fisher,
Aye.
Trustee Fried.
Aye.
Thank you.
The last item I have is just periodically, we bring to you documents that we have been holding on to pursuant to Local Government Records Act, and then we only have limited storage here, so we try to digitize those that we've just deemed important to keep, and for the others, we just try to get rid of them. And so we give you these reports periodically. You can see on the list which ones we have intentions to retain a digital copy, and those that we don't. Really simple. If you have concerns or heartburn, now's the time to tell us to pump the brakes. Otherwise, we're going to keep on, and we're complying with Illinois law, but we just always just bring this forward just in case there's somebody who has a concern about something that maybe we wouldn't see as staff. So,
Thank you. Any concerns from the board?
No.
Anybody have some concerns?
great. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
That concludes my report.
Thank you. Next is Mr. Friedman's report. Do we have-
Report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. And next would be my report, that is the appointment and approval of trustee Susan Ryder as a chair of the Finance Committee, Darren Fisher and Steve Rappin to the Finance Committee. Sorry, just a second. So is there a motion to approve this appointment?
So moved.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Thank you. Subject to the consent of the Board of Trustees, the village president appoints members to the village various advisory boards and commission, as well as the standing committees of the village board. President Shallow hereby recommends for appointment to the Village Finance Committee, Taryn Fisher, to fill the vacancy created when trustee Barbara Ankenman terms ended in May. Trustees Stephen Rapin and Susan Ryder will continue to serve on the same committee. President Shallow recommends trustee Ryder to serve as chair. Any question on the board? And that would be a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And this motion carries. So thank you for Suzanne and Steve and Taryn to carry that task that is absolutely crucial to the village. So thank you very much.
Which will start next month with the audit and a joint meeting with the Police Pension Board to talk about the various assumptions that, and just a good like 101 about the Police Pension Board. So it's a good starting place. And we think there may be some drag with the audit. Nod, but there's always lots to talk about. So.
Would it be possible for the staff to provide training sessions or informational sessions to these three members as well? I would take those sessions, by the way, as well, to get up to these members up to speed as fast as possible.
Happy to. I know Steve and Susan are savvy veterans of the Finance Committee.
I'm not. I'll hang out with you guys.
Yeah. But you've been through a complete.
I'll attend.
Yeah, we're happy to do so. Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Next, item 11. So thank you all again for doing this. I know this is actually pretty, it's actually a lot of work, and it's significant to our community. So thank you again.
Big shoes to fill with Barbara's
Yeah.
departure. She was very astute.
Yep. Yes.
If anyone's capable, it's you.
Thank you.
Next would be the acceptance of a correspondence. Please note that all correspondence was delivered to the Village Board of Trustees in the informational report on July 21st, 28th, August 4th, 11, and 18, 2023. Is there a motion to accept the correspondence?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions related to that correspondence? It's a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So thank you. The motion carries. Next would be item 12, a resolution amending a professional service agreement with Lauterbach and Amen LLP for ongoing accounting support. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. The Finance Department is responsible for coordinating the financial activities of a village, including maintaining the central accounting system and related financial controls, managing revenue collections, preparing property tax levies, controlling expenditures, management and investment of funds, and establishing and maintaining proper internal controls to safeguard village assets. In 2008, the village created the Assistant Finance Director position to assume part of his responsibilities, including supporting a range of accounting tasks related to the daily and monthly activity in the general ledger, including various account and bank reconciliations, preparation of financial reports, assisting with the annual audit and budgeting processes, and the coordination of employee benefits. Since 2020, the accounting firm of Lauterbach and Amen has performed most of his duties. Operationally, outsourcing certain accounting responsibilities provide better segregation of duties and allows the village to utilize the firm's expertise to help improve our processes. Economically, outsourcing this role is less expensive than an in-house employee, as saving resources to recruit and train while reducing overall payroll taxes, salaries, insurance, pension, and time-off expenses. As part of their scope of work, LNA provide access to various employees, ranging from staff accountant, accounting manager, to firm partner, depending on our needs. While the engagement has included the cost of year-end audit preparation and fixed asset depreciation tracking, staff is now recommending that the scope of work be expanded to include a $1,200 monthly cost for providing payroll assistance in order to better segregate duties in the finance department for a total of $99,276 per year, with a 3% annual increase for the remaining 16 months of the agreement. Question on the board.
Well, who currently does payroll? Is that a? I didn't mean to get you up. That could have been a quick answer.
No, actually, it's not a super quick answer.
Right.
So we had a staff person leave about 4 months ago, and he did water billing and payroll, and then I supervised and oversaw the payroll and approved things. Since he's been gone, I've been running payroll, and Lauterbach has assumed some of that outsourced and kind of contracted it within our existing costs. And we now have replaced that employee with a water billing employee who's also taking on the whole stormwater utility piece. And I like the segregation of that part of payroll so that I'm just supervising it and the task is not within house. It's a nice division. And right now, he's not able to take on that task. At some point in the future, that could be a role that's absorbed. But for right now, for the term of this contract, we thought that it would be better to segregate it out.
Yeah, we brought them with a different skill set. At the same time, we always struggle, and you'll see this, it usually pops up in the audit, the idea of division of labor and who can, those
Right.
walls between us. It's really hard to achieve that when such a small organization. This is one way we can do that through the outsourcing.
Yeah, and it makes no sense for you to use your talents doing payroll. So I'm sure you're pleased to have an outside group do that, and it makes sense.
Any questions on the board? Additional questions? Thank you.
Sure.
It is a roll call. Clerk, please call for roll.
Trustee Ryder.
Aye.
Trustee Cole.
Aye.
Trustee Fisher.
Aye.
Trustee Freed.
Aye.
Trustee Hatch.
Aye.
Trustee Rappin.
Aye.
Next is an ordinance adopting by reference the Lake County Watershed Development Ordinance. Is there a motion to approve this ordinance?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. I forgot my stack of paper at home, so I have to open everything in PDF, as PDF on my computer. That's why I'm looking for the document. In 1992, the County of Lake adopted a comprehensive watershed development ordinance for purposes of setting forth minimum requirements for the stormwater aspects of development through Lake County. Each municipality within Lake County was required to adopt and enforce the provisions of the ordinance. In response, Lake Bluff adopted the WDO for the first time on October 12, 1992. Since the time of the initial adoption, the WDO has been amended countywide on 9 separate occasions, most recently in 2021. On July 11, 2023, the Lake County Board adopted the amended countywide WDO. Following the most recent amendments, the Lake County Stormwater Management Commission notified all municipalities in Lake County, including Lake Bluff, that they must adopt the newly amended version of the ordinance. Adoption of the updated WDO is necessary in order for Lake Bluff to remain in good standing in the FEMA National Flood Insurance Program and to maintain Lake Bluff's community certification status with the Lake County Stormwater Management Commission. The amendments do not result in any major change to the overall administrations and enforcement of the WDO. The village engineer recommends approval of the ordinance.
Can I add just one footnote?
Absolutely.
Procedurally, my recollection is that over the years that we've adopted various versions of WDO, there's been no comment about it from anybody going through the process. The reason I say that is the amendments or having the village adopt the most updated WDO and the floodplain maps is due October 5th. I would, by some freak occurrence, if we couldn't have a quorum or meet before then, I would ask the board maybe to consider waiver of second reading so as to avoid any future conflict, just because we have sufficient numbers here to vote on it. And I don't anticipate any heartburn or friction from anybody about these changes. As Jeff pointed out, they're not really dramatic, but so let's just, if that's okay with you all, I would ask that.
We move to,
You have first reading, you have to pass anyway, and then you would ask.
Go through first reading and then
Yep.
we'll go to second reading.
Okay. Questions? No questions. So this is a roll call,
First reading's voice vote.
voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you, the motion carries. Next would be our trustees' report.
No, if there's a waiver of second, if there's a motion for waiver
Okay,
of second
could-
reading.
could I
I'll
please
make a
have
motion to waive the second reading of the ordinance.
I'll second that.
Thank you. This time it's a roll call.
Yes.
Any questions? Yeah.
Any questions? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Cole,
Aye.
Trustee Fisher,
Aye.
Trustee Freed,
Aye.
Trustee Hatch,
Aye.
Trustee Rappin,
Aye.
Trustee Ryder.
aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
My small lack of answer was me regretting not having gone to law school, okay?
There's still time.
That's true. 3 years.
Yep.
I took 4, so.
So did I.
Did you?
You got a red shirt year?
No, I was at night.
Hard time, night school,
okay.
had to work. Not all of us can go without working.
I went to night school too for my master's in, whatever.
There you go, you're one of us.
That's fun. Next would be our trustees' report. Do any trustee wish to make a report tonight? And I believe that we have tonight an executive session.
Yes.
So, and I will be specific about that. May I have a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of discussing lease of property and litigation pursuant to the Illinois Open Meeting Act, and that upon the adjournment of the closed session, this regular meeting will be deemed to automatically be adjourned by the same vote without the conduct of any further business. Motion to go into session?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. And this is a roll call. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher,
Aye.
Trustee Freed,
Aye.
Trustee Hatch,
Aye.
Trustee Rappin,
Aye.
Trustee Ryder,
Aye.
Trustee Cole.
Aye.
Thank you very much. And this concludes the open part of a village board meeting. So thank you very much for anyone in attendance, and have a great evening. Good night.